Sagittarius. The one who broke you will fall. Karma strikes. No mercy. Shocking revenge awaits. There comes a moment, Sagittarius, when the universe whispers that what was once broken inside of you will no longer remain shattered. You know this energy well. Fire in your spirit, truth in your bones, and resilience in your blood. Life has shown you betrayal, disappointment, and even heartbreak at the hands of people you once trusted. And yet here you stand, stronger than they ever imagined. The message now is clear. Karma is at work, and the one who caused your deepest wounds will face their own reckoning. This is not about bitterness, but about divine balance. Just as seasons shift, so too does fate restore justice. Look at the stories unfolding in America's cultural stage. Celebrities who once seemed untouchable now find themselves exposed by truth, their arrogance replaced by consequence. Their journeys mirror yours, reminding you that no matter how high someone builds their empire on deception, the cracks will eventually bring it down. As you walk through this season, take a breath and feel the empowerment of knowing that you do not need to lift a finger for revenge. The universe, your guardian of justice, already has the plan. Allow yourself to receive this message with open hands. If this resonates with you, gently like, share, and subscribe. So together we can walk this journey of healing and revelation as a community of seekers guided by the wisdom of the stars. Gate 1. When karma finds its stage. Sagittarius, karma is not a myth. It is the invisible law that governs balance in our universe. When someone causes pain, humiliation, or betrayal, the energy they release must one day return to them. Sometimes it comes quietly, like a soft unraveling, and other times it crashes down in a storm so loud the world cannot help but notice. Look at the American stage of fame and power. Countless celebrities and public figures have lived through the sharp return of their own choices. One clear example is the story of Harvey Weinstein. For decades he held Hollywood in his grip, projecting power while leaving a trail of broken spirits behind him. Many thought he was untouchable, that his fame and money would shield him forever. Yet, when the tide turned, it was swift and merciless. The #MeToo movement rose like a wave, carrying the voices of those silenced for years. And suddenly the man who seemed invincible was stripped of everything: reputation, career, and freedom. This is karma made visible. The universe reminding us that nothing built on pain can stand. For Sagittarius, this lesson holds personal weight. Perhaps you too have trusted someone who used your openness against you. Maybe a partner, a friend, or even a colleague betrayed your kindness, leaving scars on your heart. In the moment it felt unfair, even unbearable. You questioned why the universe allowed injustice to win. But now, as you watch stories like Weinstein's unravel in front of the world, you are reminded, justice does not forget. Just as Hollywood learned that silence cannot bury truth forever, you too will see those who wronged you face their own moment of reckoning. Consider another figure, Lance Armstrong. Once celebrated as a hero, a man who conquered impossible odds, he was placed on a pedestal as a symbol of strength. Yet behind the curtain was deception, lies woven to protect an image. When karma arrived, it dismantled everything at once. Titles stripped, reputation shattered, legacy tainted. What this shows you, Sagittarius, is that deception, no matter how carefully crafted, will eventually collapse. The higher someone builds their tower of lies, the harder the fall when truth finally demands its due. Now turn inward. Who in your life once seemed untouchable? Who believed they could hurt you and walk away without consequence? The universe wants you to release the burden of revenge, because their fall is not yours to orchestrate. Your task is to heal, to grow, to channel your fire into becoming so radiant that their shadows cannot dim you anymore. Karma has its own timing. You do not need to wait in bitterness. Instead, you live, you rise, and you trust. Just like the arc of justice that eventually caught up with the mighty names in American culture, the same balance will touch your story. There is also a profound lesson here for you, Sagittarius. Karma is not only punishment, it is teaching. For those who harmed you, it will be a mirror of truth. For you, it is a reminder of your strength and dignity. Look at Britney Spears, for instance. For years, her voice was taken from her. Her freedom locked away in a conservatorship that many believed would never end. Yet, as the truth came to light, the world shifted in her favor. Justice moved slowly, but it moved. What seemed like endless control by others eventually broke apart, leaving her free to reclaim her power. That too is karma, not vengeance but restoration. In your own life, think of the times you felt silenced or trapped by the control of someone else. Perhaps you doubted you would ever find release. The lesson from Spear's journey reminds you that endurance is not wasted, that your voice will rise again, and that balance will return when the timing is right. Sagittarius, your role is not to force the wheel of karma, but to align with the trust that what is owed will be delivered. So when you think of those who broke you, imagine them not as victors walking away, but as travelers carrying a heavy debt. Every act of cruelty or betrayal is a seed, and sooner or later, seeds grow into harvests. Some reap joy, others reap sorrow. The ones who hurt you are not free from that harvest. You, however, can choose a different field to plant, one filled with healing, wisdom, and new beginnings. Remember, Sagittarius, the fire in your heart is not meant for destruction, but for illumination. The world offers countless examples that karma is inevitable, from celebrities whose empires have crumbled under the weight of truth, to voices once silenced rising into freedom. You are shown again and again that the universe keeps its promise. Trust this. Live fully. And know the one who broke you will fall. Not because you demanded revenge, but because balance is sacred and karma never forgets. Gate 2, from brokenness to power. Sagittarius, there is a sacred truth that often hides within heartbreak. The cracks in your life are not there to destroy you but to let your inner light pour through. While karma ensures that those who broke you will face their own downfall, your destiny is not to wait for their collapse. It is to rise in a way that makes your healing the greatest form of victory. In America's cultural landscape, we've seen countless public figures experience betrayal, ridicule, or loss, only to transform those very wounds into sources of strength that inspire millions. Their stories become mirrors for you, teaching you that pain is never the final word. Take Oprah Winfrey, for instance. Before she became one of the most influential women in the world, her life was marked by unimaginable trauma. She endured poverty, abuse, and repeated rejection. Many thought her brokenness would define her forever. Yet Oprah chose differently. She used her wounds as a foundation for empathy. Her heartbreak as fuel for her mission to heal others through storytelling. What was once her greatest shame became her greatest strength. Sagittarius, your story may not unfold on television screens across the world, but the principle is the same. The betrayal you endured can become the soil from which your greatest purpose grows. Or consider Taylor Swift, who has faced public humiliation, media ridicule, and betrayals within the industry she loves. Time and again, she was painted as fragile or overdramatic, dismissed in ways that cut deeply. Yet she chose not to collapse under that weight. Instead, she turned pain into art, and betrayal into anthems that resonated with millions. Her resilience became her brand, her voice became her revenge, and her authenticity became her power. For you, Sagittarius, the lesson is clear. The very people who tried to silence you may become the reason your voice carries even louder. Think also of Robert Downey Jr., once labeled as finished in Hollywood. His career spiraled through addiction, arrests, and betrayals by those who no longer believed in him. For years he was the broken man, the outcast. Yet through resilience and self-belief he rose again, eventually becoming one of the most beloved actors of our time through his role as Iron Man. His fall seemed final, but it was actually the foundation for his rise. What was once his shame became the story that millions would celebrate as a comeback. For you, Sagittarius, this is a reminder that no matter how far you feel you've fallen, your fire still burns, waiting to be rekindled into something even greater. When someone breaks you, they believe they've ended your story. But your fire sign nature refuses to be extinguished. Sagittarius thrives in transformation. Your bow always aims forward. Your spirit always seeks the horizon. The betrayal you suffered is not your burial, but your breakthrough. Like a phoenix, you rise not in spite of the ashes but because of them. There's a deep spiritual lesson here. Those who harmed you may eventually face their karma, but your greatest revenge is not in witnessing their fall. It is in becoming someone they never imagined you could be. Imagine standing tall in your truth, smiling with peace they can never touch, living a life rich in meaning and joy. That, Sagittarius, is how you take back your power. It's easy to look at celebrities and see only the glitter, but their journeys remind us of the universal law. Pain is a teacher. Look at Lady Gaga, who faced bullying, rejection, and betrayal early in her career. Many told her she wasn't enough, that she didn't belong. but she transformed every wound into art, every insult into a reason to create. Now she is celebrated for her uniqueness, inspiring millions to embrace their authenticity. Her story echoes what the stars whisper to you now. The qualities that others tried to break in you may actually be the keys to your destiny. Your personal story may not unfold under cameras and headlines, but it matters just as much. Maybe you've been betrayed by a partner who underestimated your worth, a friend who abandoned you, or a workplace that dismissed your value. The sting is real, but so is the transformation waiting for you. Sagittarius, you are called to see yourself not as a victim of betrayal, but as the author of a powerful rebirth. The truth is, pain shapes us. It teaches compassion, deepens wisdom, and sharpens vision, but only if we let it. The ones who broke you wanted to dim your flame. Instead, let their betrayal become the match that ignites your brightest fire. Just as Oprah, Taylor, Robert, and Gaga turned wounds into wisdom, you too can make your scars sacred. And when you do, you'll discover something extraordinary. The fall of those who hurt you matters far less than the rise of the soul they tried to destroy. Sagittarius, the stars are guiding you to remember. Your brokenness is not the end, it is the beginning. The universe is already preparing doors of opportunity, moments of redemption, and pathways of joy that will prove you were never meant to stay in the shadows. Your power is not in revenge. Your power is in rising so brilliantly that no betrayal can define you again. Gate 3, the sacred balance of forgiveness and letting go. Sagittarius, you are ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion, wisdom, and higher truth. This means that while you can feel the sting of betrayal more sharply than most, you are also gifted with the ability to rise above bitterness and see life from a higher vantage point. Karma is real, yes, and those who broke you will face their own fall. But the deeper question is, what will you do with the space they left behind in your soul? The answer lies in forgiveness, not as a favor to them, but as a liberation for you. In America, one of the most powerful cultural examples of forgiveness is the story of Nelson Mandela's visit to the U.S. after his release from prison. Though not American himself, his impact on American hearts was profound. Mandela spent 27 years behind bars, betrayed by a system that sought to erase his voice. And yet, when freedom finally came, he chose not to seek revenge but reconciliation. His example rippled across the world, teaching us that true strength lies not in holding grudges, but in releasing them. Sagittarius, your journey mirrors this. Your power is not in clutching the chains of resentment, but in breaking them. Consider also Maya Angelou, the legendary American poet who endured unspeakable trauma as a child, including betrayal by those who should have protected her. For years she did not speak, silenced by pain. But when she found her voice again, she did not fill it with hatred. Instead, she filled it with truth, love, and healing. Her words became medicine for generations. Angelou once said, "Bitterness is like cancer. It eats upon the host." For you, Sagittarius, the wisdom is clear. Holding on to anger may feel like justice, but in reality, it only prolongs your suffering. Forgiveness, however, transforms scars into sacred reminders of your strength. And let us not forget Martin Luther King Jr., whose message of nonviolent resistance continues to shape the American soul. He faced betrayal, threats, and violence, yet he refused to let hatred define his vision. His legacy reminds you, Sagittarius, that your spirit is not meant to be chained by bitterness. The higher justice of the universe works through compassion, even when the world feels merciless. By choosing forgiveness, you align yourself with the expansive energy of Jupiter, the energy that heals, grows, and multiplies blessings in your life. Now, forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing the harm. It does not mean inviting the betrayer back into your sacred space. Instead, it means you release the hold their actions have over your heart. Think of it as setting down a heavy stone you've carried for too long. While karma ensures they will face their consequences, forgiveness ensures that you are no longer chained to their shadow. You walk lighter, freer, and more open to the blessings waiting ahead. Let's return to the cultural mirror. Michelle Obama has spoken openly about the criticism, attacks, and betrayals she and her family endured during her husband's presidency. Yet, she continually chose grace over resentment. She reminded the world that when others go low, you go high. Sagittarius, this is the wisdom of your fire. Your light shines brightest not when you burn in anger, but when you rise above it. Every time you forgive, you are choosing to aim your arrow higher, toward a destiny that is not defined by your enemies. Forgiveness also transforms how you see yourself. Betrayal can leave you feeling powerless, like a victim of someone else's cruelty. But when you forgive, you reclaim your agency. You declare that your story is not written by those who broke you, but by the way you choose to rise. This shift in perspective is not small, it is cosmic. It opens doors to new relationships, new opportunities, and new joy, because the universe responds to the energy you carry. When you release bitterness, you create space for blessings to flow. Think about Malala Yousafzai's story. Though she is not American, her influence reached deeply into American hearts. Shot for speaking up about girls' education, she chose not to respond with hatred, but with forgiveness and courage. That choice made her a global voice for justice and healing. Her journey mirrors what the stars whisper to you. Those who tried to silence you may have caused pain, but your choice to rise with forgiveness will turn your wounds into wings. Sagittarius, as you walk this path, ask yourself, what would it mean to forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace? How much lighter would your days feel if you released the anger you've been carrying? The ones who broke you will fall, but your destiny is not tied to their downfall. Your destiny is tied to your ability to rise higher, freer, and more radiant than they could ever imagine. Forgiveness is your rebellion. It is your freedom. And it is the way you step into the fullness of your cosmic inheritance. While karma handles the rest, you focus on your healing, your joy, your expansion. This is the sacred balance of the universe. Justice for them, liberation for you. And in that balance, Sagittarius, you discover the deepest form of power, peace. Gate 4. Rebuilding the future with courage and vision. Sagittarius, once you've released the weight of betrayal and chosen forgiveness, the horizon ahead becomes wide and luminous. You are not meant to live in the ruins of what was broken. You are meant to build again, stronger and freer than ever before. This is where your Jupiter-ruled spirit shines brightest. Your ability to see possibility where others only see endings. The fall of those who wronged you is only the prelude. The true story is your resurrection. Look to the world of American culture, where countless figures have embodied the power of rebuilding. Consider Steve Jobs, who was famously ousted from the very company he founded. Betrayed, humiliated, and dismissed, many assumed his story had ended. But instead of surrendering, Jobs rebuilt. He created new ventures, sharpened his vision, and eventually returned to Apple, transforming it into one of the most influential companies in the world. His betrayal became the soil for innovation. His exile became the training ground for genius. Sagittarius, your journey mirrors this. What feels like loss today can become the foundation for the greatest chapter of your life. Another example is Miley Cyrus, whose public struggles and reinventions often made her the subject of ridicule. Yet time and again, she has reclaimed her narrative, using music, advocacy, and personal evolution to rise stronger. Each fall in the public eye became an opportunity for transformation. This reflects your Sagittarian spirit. You are not defined by how others see you, but by how boldly you reclaim yourself each time life demands reinvention. In your own life, the betrayal you faced may have shaken your foundation, but now, with forgiveness clearing your path, you have the freedom to dream again. Imagine rebuilding love, not with the same patterns that broke you, but with wisdom and clarity that ensure you attract partners, friends, and communities aligned with your truth. Sagittarius thrives when surrounded by honesty, adventure, and freedom. Let your past pain become the compass that guides you toward healthier bonds. Career and purpose also stand ready for rebirth. The stars remind you, rejection is often divine redirection. Just as Oprah's early dismissals pushed her toward building her own platform, just as Robert Downey Jr.'s failures forged a comeback no one expected, your setbacks are shaping you into someone who can stand in greater power. Ask yourself, what vision am I ready to chase now that I'm no longer weighed down by anger? What dream have I postponed because betrayal left me doubting my worth? The answers to these questions will mark the seeds of your new future. Rebuilding also requires courage, Sagittarius. It means facing the fear that you could be hurt again and choosing to live anyway. This is where your fire burns brightest. Your courage is not the absence of fear, but the refusal to let fear dictate your destiny. Consider the journey of Simone Biles, the celebrated gymnast. After facing public scrutiny, immense pressure, and even personal withdrawal from the Olympics to protect her mental health, she came back stronger, proving that stepping back to heal is not weakness but wisdom. Her story reflects your truth. Pausing, healing, and then rebuilding allows you to return more powerful than before. Spiritually, rebuilding is about reclaiming your inner narrative. Betrayal may have told you, you are not enough, or you are powerless. But your rebirth declares, I am worthy, I am resilient, I am free. This declaration is not just words. It is a vibration that reshapes your life. The universe responds to the energy you carry. When you embody healing and expansion, doors open, connections flow, and opportunities find their way to you. In love, career, and selfhood, rebuilding after betrayal is not about erasing the past, but about integrating its lessons. Sagittarius, you are a seeker, always chasing truth and meaning. The truth is, your wounds gave you wisdom, and your betrayals gave you clarity. Now you know what you will never settle for again. You know how to protect your fire without dimming it. You know how to open your heart while honoring your boundaries. This is the strength that ensures your future is not a repeat of your past, but a radiant new chapter. Let's return to another cultural symbol of rebirth, Beyoncé. After personal betrayal and public exposure, she transformed her pain into the art of lemonade, a project that was not just music but medicine. She showed the world that betrayal could become a masterpiece, that heartbreak could become empowerment. Sagittarius, this is your invitation too. To take what broke you and turn it into creation, expression, and power. Your life itself becomes the masterpiece. Rebuilding requires patience, but every step forward is sacred. The universe is not asking you to rush, but to trust. Trust that what is being built now is stronger than what was lost. Trust that your fire is guiding you toward relationships, opportunities, and visions aligned with your soul's purpose. Trust that karma will handle the past while you focus on creating the future. Sagittarius, your journey is a living testament to resilience. The one who broke you will indeed fall, but your story is not about their collapse. Your story is about your rise. Your fire was never meant to burn in bitterness. It was meant to light the path into a destiny brighter than you can yet imagine. And as you step boldly into this new horizon, you are not just surviving betrayal. You are transforming it into the foundation of your most radiant life. Rising beyond the fall. Sagittarius, your story has been one of betrayal, heartbreak, and brokenness. But more importantly, it has become a story of justice, healing, and transformation. The ones who wronged you may face their own fall through karma's inevitable hand, yet the greater miracle is how you have risen beyond their shadows. You have learned that revenge is not yours to carry. The universe has already written that chapter. What belongs to you is healing, forgiveness, and the rebuilding of a life richer than before. You have seen through the lens of culture how justice reveals itself. The powerful brought low, the silence finding their voices, the fallen reborn into legends. These stories mirror your own truth. Your cracks did not end you, they remade you. You are no longer bound by bitterness. You are free to create, to love, to trust, and to expand. Every scar has become a map pointing you toward strength. Every wound a seed for wisdom. Every betrayal a lesson that sharpened your vision. So now stand tall, Sagittarius. Release the past into the hands of karma and step boldly into your new horizon. Trust that the fire within you is not meant for destruction, but for guiding you into a destiny that shines brighter than any betrayal could ever dim. This is your victory. Not just surviving but rising. Not just healing but transforming. Not just hoping but living fully. If these words resonate with you, let them be a reminder that you are not alone on this path. Like, share, and subscribe so together we can continue walking this journey of cosmic wisdom and soulful healing, guided always by the stars. The universe is not done with you, Sagittarius. Your greatest chapters are only beginning.